Hello and welcome back to another episode of Nick Tiffany's Movie Reviews, coming at you online and in print format at nicktiffany.com, in audio form wherever you get your podcasts, and even in video on YouTube. Today we are talking The Royal Hotel, now in theaters. This was one, I knew next to nothing going into this one. I was scouring for a new movie release this weekend that wasn't Saw or Exorcist or something that was going to terrify me or just haunt my nightmares. You know, I do like horror sometimes, but more the psychological horror. The gory stuff just doesn't work for me. So I needed something else. And I was like, okay, The Royal Hotel. No clue what it is, but it's a 2023 release. Recognize a couple of the actors in it. Let's go for it. Australian film. I love my Aussies. I love Aussie filmmakers. So I was like, cool, let's do it. Let's go. Got up in the morning, went to an early showing before noon, and I was not I was not expecting for what this movie ended up being. You know, and that's on me because I'm here like, all right, what's the last hotel movie I saw? You know, Grand Budapest, the best exotic marigold hotel. I'm like, all the most recent hotel movies I can think of that I've seen within the last 4 or 5 years, probably at least, they're great. You know, I'm like, I'm hopeful for a great hotel movie. And it was a good hotel movie. But man, I was stressing. So basically, film follows two U.S. backpackers. These two young girls live in Hannah. They're kind of bouncing around all over the world, having the summer of their lives, working when they need to. You save up some money, boom, we'll go party for a few weeks. Work a few weeks, party a few weeks. You know, once the money runs out, it's just time to find another gig, you know, and it's only temporary. So once they run out of money after they've been partying in Sydney, two girls finding themselves in this predicament again are like, hey, we need another job. It's a little late in the season, and so the only thing they're really able to get is working at this pub way, way out in the desert near a mining depot. And I'm like, I kid you not, not the travel agent, but whomever, the woman in charge of kind of helping them figure out where their next job is. She's like, oh, you know, it's a little remote and, you know, it's out by a mining deal. So I just hope you don't mind a little male attention. That's all. And, you know, one of the girls is like, oh, you know, that's fine. And then the more sane girl, I'll just say, is kind of like, okay, all right, yeah. And we're going to be working, we're going to be working at the pub. Okay, we'll see how that goes. And so, you know, they get on this bus out into the middle of nowhere. They get picked up by the wife of the guy who owns the whole pub area. Come to find out, Hugo Weaving, Mr. Smith himself, is the owner, but he's a drunkard, you know, and there's dive bars, there's your middle of nowhere bars, and I've been to some middle of nowhere bars out in Texas. You know, I know what some of this is like, but man, this was next level, you know, because it's a mining town. All these guys are working hard all day, so they're going to drink hard all night. And of course, you got all the different rules for regulars. He gets a free beer when he comes in. You don't ever serve him this. We cut Donnie off after like 10 beers, you know. Always give her a little extra of this. Of course, you got the girls. You need to smile. If you want to make some money, you got to smile. Listen to their shitty jokes. Just immediately, you know, and I was like, I don't have a great feeling about this. I don't know if I want to be here. Could we could we go? But Liv's like, no, come on, man. It's just a few weeks. We're gonna make some money, and then we'll be back. We'll go do that thing you wanted to do. We'll go wherever. You know, it's gonna be fine. What's the worst that can happen? Not that she says that, but you're already thinking, you're like, oh God, no, like trust your gut. Trust your gut. And so, you know, without really going into too much detail, obviously you've got all kinds of different patrons who come in. Some who are more aggressive than others, some who are nicer than others, you know, some who it's like, well, you don't look like you would be the nicest guy, perhaps, but you're the only dude ever trying to like show a little respect around here. You're the only person trying to help out. And you got a guy who, you know, he's like, hey, Blondie, why are blondes bad at sex, you know? and you just got guys making unwarranted jokes and just saying stuff they should not be saying to young women, and obviously I think I come into this a lot of, like, I work as a bartender. And so, fortunately, where I work is not a dive bar. It's definitely more of a family Italian joint with a great bar on the side. It's very few and far between that we get crazy, crazy people coming in, or people that either, are, I don't want to say lightweights, but, there's certainly something to say for knowing your own limit, especially when you're out in public too. There's certainly been a fair share of situations where, people start fighting at the bar themselves. They're bickering, shouting, people come in and they're already drunk and they're trying to get drinks and they're trying to start a fight, or they're trying to tell you, well, you're not so-and-so, so blah, 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 blah. And I think of the way that I've heard grown men speak to me. I would say, as a younger guy, and there's certainly situations where it's just like, not only is this really uncomfortable, but obviously you've got a room full of people around watching you, looking for you to make this decision, or what are you going to respond with, what's going to fly and what's not going to fly. And people test you. They'll say things and they test you just like that. Yeah, blondie, sex jokes or whatever, There's always one or two who it's like, oh, like, I'm not. It's like those guys who are like, I'm not touching you, but I'm not really touching you. I'm not. And it's just no good. There's just a whole lot of no good. Once you mix alcohol into any situation, yes, sometimes things can be fun, but you cross that line and that threshold, and what's fun can turn scary and threatening and just like weird really quickly. And so I've been out at a number of bars, obviously, where you start listening and looking around and stuff that's happening. And you're like, for me, I'm like, I could never work here. Oh my God, this is just so many just inappropriate comments, just like people grabbing at bartenders, and you see some weird, horrible stuff. And so I work with more than a few women who are bartenders at my work as well. And I don't always work the same shifts that they do, so I'll hear things. And the craziest thing is, it's like, I only know people through a certain relationship. And they kind of touch on this in this movie, where it's like, my interactions with this person have never been bad. They've never done anything to give me pause for caution or feel like maybe they're weird or whatever, But again, I am a guy, and it sucks to say, but sometimes guys are like, well, I'll respect the guy bartender, or I'll respect him because he's a little older or whatever it is. He's a dude, so I'll bro out with him. I'd never say anything awful to him. And then I hear from my friends, they're like, oh, so I know that you like this guy, but like, he said some really weird stuff to me. He was trying to make some moves. He was trying to touch me when I walked by, just stuff where it's like, oh, like, it makes you sick to your stomach. But it's also like, it's that side of like, you never know who is a good person sometimes or who's not. And so the film certainly plays with your expectations in that same way, where it's like, it's really, really tough sometimes, because you're like, all right, I'm going to give someone the benefit of the doubt, and maybe they're fine with me, but it's like, all right, I heard you did this to so-and-so. You're done. That's it. Finito. And so, man, watching this movie, it was just like, it was stressful for a number of reasons. Just from the side of hospitality, is like, all right, well, I want a place where people feel warm and invited and not harassed by other people at the bar. Of course, that stuff happens here. The girls in the film, Julia and, oh gosh, I'm blanking on their names right now. This is where I need to be better. Julia and Jessica, the two of them were fantastic, playing both different kinds of people who, it's like, obviously, yes, it's summer. You want to have fun. We're young. You got to be reckless, but you also got to be smart. And so this is exactly that friendship where it's like, clearly we have a really responsible one, and clearly there's one who's a little more throw caution to the wind. And in this scenario, where they are holed up, where they've got to live, the people who are around them, it's just, it creates chaos. And they know what they're doing. I know exactly why they're like that, and it works out really well in the film, just as far as where it takes both the characters, where it ends up. Gosh, this is it wasn't triggering, but it was just like, oh, I'm sure when you guys watch this movie, I think there will be kind of a lot to talk about. I would hope. It's one where I definitely want to talk more on it. Don't want to spoil anything here, and I won't. But it's just food for thought, you know? Watch your consumption. Be aware of your surroundings, though, too. Don't be afraid to leave somewhere if you're getting weird vibes from people, men or women, whatever, you know. I think there's a lot in this film to look at and be like, okay, much like in horror films, never do that. Don't run up the stairs when the person's trying to chase you. You know, it's just don't back yourself into a corner if you're not going to have any protection for yourself either. But the Royal Hotel, I know I kind of tangented there a bit. Really enjoyed the movie. For as much as it stressed me out, this was like a surprisingly great thriller. One I was not expecting, one I didn't know was going to be a thriller. Really great time with it. Smart, sharp story, really great performances, and you will probably come away with it too, like I am. Like, I will never, ever work in a bar like that, ever. So it's playing in limited engagements in theaters right now. If you're in a market kind of like Seattle or one of those, you know, as big a market as you think Seattle is, we're still one of the side ones. You know, we'll get things a couple weeks after LA or New York if it's independent. So, you know, as always, try to go support some independent film if you can. If it's in your area, I'd always go the theatrical route over watching it at home first. But thanks again for listening, you guys. As always, stay subscribed to NT Movie Reviews on all social media networks, podcast platforms, and on YouTube for all the latest on movie news and reviews. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next time.